Architect conceptions.
Peace, the salutations, raising expectations, this elevation, another verse of education. As savage after parties alter arts activations, art and art amends with angry sanitations. It's like when butterfly knives exhaust devilry, slashing mental peasantry's destiny. It's just concentrated supremacy, interactive elements of my biochemistry. So don't believe your tweeted phenol hype. Yaku won't be quilling any germotype. Even as planets revolve, even a Earth. Eclipse a moon, I build her up on the turd. It's inferred, rooted limbs, hunger stance, written history in advance. My soul will suffice that builds wisdom nice. From hymns of Jesus Christ, the life of self-sacrifice. Self-styled weapons always favored. Poly to the loop of the rhythm is savored. See the jewels. I got means, teams, manifestos, ghettos, plans, clans, blogs, monologues, such a hefty catalog. Endless styles and texts to concur. But your violence, we abhor and deter. You should have took your fall when the Abbott Whitaker call. 180 moves. Now your life will never improve.
It's like I'm fighting for freedom. Writing for freedom.
Hard-headed niggas better be wearing fear like God said it.
Glorify guns, funds, or even past judgment. Soul magician, ain't no mysteries of mean mugging. Smile like a child before the world takes us innocent. Hotep, backpack of rappers trying to get with us. Niggas just minimus, emotions pure clitoris. Pussy fire ridiculous, full of shit, need enemas. I don't give a fuck if you black, brown, indigenous. I plan to civilize survivors wise against wickedness. The message kept playing for the brain flow is intricate. Infinite thoughts talk to you from my physical. Mic cords I destroy, pushing every syllable. Analog ultrasound effects born in rituals. Critical race theory rooted in hate clearly. Stealing a word woke, changing the meaning really. Dearly beloved, this country standing on crutches for a deal with its own hate. They just say fuck it.
It's like I'm fighting for freedom. Writing for freedom.
Hard-headed niggas better be wearing fear like God said it. God said it.
Devil's appetizer, job downsizing, factions capsizing, you left compromising. I stay analyzing, actions alchemizing, word organizing, child mobilizing. No fears paralyzing, always galvanizing, suffer tougher, never guzzling. Understanding, synchronizing, crackers tranquilizing, true and live it uprising. Universe shaped as we deciding.
Writing for freedom. It's like I'm fighting for freedom. Writing for freedom.
Hard-headed niggas better be wearing fear like God said it. God said it.
It's all ignited by approachment. Intensive malice on encroachment. No photography pages or twerked on stages. Just blue-collared workers on clocks where bad bonds dock, no orthodox. You need a mode of techniques to see effects of stocks. Poison pens, cash a dead press for mental blocks. I started in these fields of the song press box. All my words were Wang Jang, Silver Fox. So travel this road map of the devil's quartet. Doctors, ministers, thirst, cremators, wisdom destroys set. As they steal coke to cook dope, spook with shook lyrics of pop scope. Talk rappers, gallant chivalry, no chasten bigotry. Clothing FBA by FBI, shoes by CIA, walk blind by day. If you divide the seeds, they can smoke. By all false deeds, now you woke. 103 mil in every conspiracy. Culture ain't freedom, hate self into tyranny. Watch it all climb down from fecal piles of Sam Hill. Hatred erotic, I have clowns take that spill. Sun can't chill, enemies surround still. Make assessments to adaptations and 9 ground skill.
What I've learned is to to always keep going. Always. And I've come to find out is that no matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready. And so I've really learned to put one foot in front of the other, good, bad, and different, because eventually that storm passes.
He's gone. Move before more shots drawn. We could fight another day if we make it till dawn. Grab the good longest to ease my longings. Ride like bison in wild response. This is the invisible renaissance. Where they can't see the motherfucking ruckus. Where the carpet bombs by Zion is blood suckers. Or freight brought from mobile sharecropper truckers. Something societal, maniacal. And now warriors have to be undeniable. As I write for true hues and drawers of water. The ones they timber and drown every horrid quarter. I close the books and walk out to sinister worlds that are trained to fight through. 60 plus one shades, savage in sight, on sight cue. They don't know that I'm the god, IDing me wrong. They just John Doe's, my arm tongues, I move Johns, defend my throng. Horse stance kept the legs chiseled. Invaded Hungar stride, a rooted swivel. Bang Sao to Kwang Sao, free arm tiger strike before jump Sao. If the body moves rapidly, it's cause my mind built an alchemy. Where degrees give it all you have it all within your power loop endlessly. And I'm around how's a swirl like jabs around the neckline. Right, left, pivot versus this night theft. Black tiger punches leave them with light clefts. This one of many fights is over like low pay or GMO decay. Tread more cause it'll be worse another day. For revolution to revolt and principles to uphold. Every hour warriorship it must be. Keep on building everywhere. Kobe.
Peace, everyone, to the gods, to the earths, and everyone that is tapped in right now to Let's Get Activated podcast. Let me tell you, we are in for a great episode tonight. We are streaming right now live on YouTube and Facebook. We are also on Culture Shock Radio, Raptor Music FM, Rockbox FM, Radio for Sale, and Gnarly FM. I am your host, Same. So for tonight, I got to introduce to you a returning god to the stage. We have author, we have writer, we have interviewer, we have educator, we have martial artist, we have music artist, we have father, we have journalist, and everything in between back here into the building. So I would like to introduce everyone here to the god SUNEZ Allah.
Peace, peace. Oh man,
Peace.
So happy to be on here. Peace of the earth, Same. Right? You know, yeah, it's great. It's great to be back. You know what I mean? Great to be back at work. So great to be seen. And I think you're the first one that ever introduced me as a father as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. I get introduced like that. But you know, as we see with the album, like they inspire everything. They don't even know how much they inspire the stuff I'm doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's peace. That's
yes. Right. Well, you know what we have to do. We have to give back to the babies, right? The babies are important, so it's important to include that, you know, into this, you know, introduction. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I had to get you back because, you know, you were last on, you know, a little over 2 years ago, episode 56. We are now in episode 177. You know, you have, you know, a duo thing going on right now. You've got the debut LP, The Zen of Us, right? And then included with that, you have an accompanying book to this, you know.
Right, the book, yeah.
Yes, you know, The Zen of Us, The Art of War, from Sun Tzu to SUNEZ. So we had to like get those, you know, kind of together here and talk about it and build on it. You know what I mean?
Sure. You know, it's crazy. The way it developed was really with the book first. So the album is the score and soundtrack to the book. And King Kamal is hilarious though. Yeah.
Peace God, King Kamal.
yeah. You know, I'll mention. I'll go back to that when we get to that song. But the particular song that we just played, Kobe. But I'm a martial artist. And I get knowledge of self with the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths. and I'm embroiled quickly in it, very fast compared to others. I learn my lessons fast, but I'm also expected to be a little something more. I'm recruited to be a teacher, not just a teacher like all of us are, but a teacher here at the school. So with my enlightener, the one who taught me this knowledge and the knowledge me, remembered imperfection because he passed away last year. I'm with other elders that are here, like Savior Knowledge and others, and they're really teaching me how to teach at the school. It's a little different teaching out in the street than teaching in the school because you're kind of representing the entire nation. But so many things I'm learning in such a rapid pace. You know, as I go along, though, one day we're fixing the school here, and the gods say, I didn't know that they were, but they were like, "Yo, you're in pretty good shape." I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." Yo, you should train with us. You should do kung fu with us. We got a Sigung master teacher is what Sigung means, right? And you should come out with us. And I was like, I don't know about that kicking stuff. That's what I literally said that. You know what I mean? And then that's what I end up doing all the time. But so I didn't really get it. And I was saying this on the show. It was interesting. Think about this. I was saying this in my class that I just had. It was really what kicked into me, the open offer. Like, I got to take the open offer. When I was with my twin brother, I have a twin brother, and we were watching Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker. And Riz is in it with the great score, the great soundtrack, but the score was blowing me away. You know what I mean? So much so that I used my alarm, a lot of my alarm ringtones, like for alarms, are still songs from the score. I paid like $35 to get the score, Japanese import, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I was like, after that movie, I had to get the book, The Hagakure, The Way of the Samurai, but I was like, yo, I got to learn this. And I started to realize that the knowledge itself is also in tune with a lot of the martial arts. And when I started to learn the martial arts with my Sigung Bobby Whitaker, who's in the back cover of the book, you know what I mean? So the back cover, I have my Sigung, I have my enlightener, I have my other teacher, Savior Knowledge, who I've already mentioned. You know, they're so important to me in my life and were important to me in my life. And
back cover right here for everyone.
There we go. Yeah. You know, there's a Sigung Bobby at the top left, you know, and Knowledge Me, top right. In the middle left is Savior Knowledge, me with the ball cap. And then the trio of fours from right to left is Sigung Bobby Whitaker, Day's son, Allah. He's the one that brought me to Allah school, but he was before that, he's my fellow hip hop writer. We met in college. So we were both writers in these magazines. He was in all the magazines I wasn't in. He was in Beatdown magazine, and I was doing stuff in Vibe. And then next to him and next to me is Dr. David Traverso Galaza, PhD. First Puerto Rican I ever met with a PhD, has 7 master's degrees. He really put me on the square because I was just thinking I'd pass his class because I'm Puerto Rican, and he just let me have it, though. And he became my mentor. To this day, I speak to him and build with him regularly, you know. Became my colleague, which is amazing. On the bottom there, bottom left is Rakim Supreme Shabazz Allah, a.k.a. Rudy Lowe, on the bottom left. And Papa Wu, a.k.a. better known as Freedom Allah, and me with that white Low Lives cap, you know what I mean? And, Papa Wu was one of my teachers, you know what I mean? Among many of the elders that taught me. And Rakim Supreme Shabazz, he's the one that gave me my L's as a low life. So he, it's an important link. People like Daysun, people like Rakim, they're important links between hip hop and this knowledge itself for me, you know? And then on the last picture, you have like that hip hop connection. On the right in the back with his hand up is DJ Toshi, who, I've been doing DJ Toshi's Classic Storm podcast for over, 8-9 years with him.
Yes.
Done hundreds of episodes, you know what I mean?
Quite a while. In
the middle there that you can't see is Wise Ruler. Got out of East New York, you know what I mean? Always a supporter. He happened to be there for me, supporting. And then with the bag there, the Polo Ralph Lauren bag, That's Big Thirst, Thurston Howell the Third, Big Vic Low. You know what I mean? He's the one that named me Skillustrator Low. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
I'm trying to put pictures in there that mean people that mean a lot to me, that bridge these gaps between the way I express myself creatively and the knowledge of self. And it's funny because martial arts, hip hop, and this knowledge of self are those three things, you know. So that's why I made the back cover like that, you know. But this book was done when I was just learning martial arts, and it was all very new to me, just like teaching at a law school. And so now all of a sudden it's 4 years later, and I have all these students. I'm not sure, you know, I have all these insights, and I'm trying to put it all down. And out of How a Warrior, and we read all these books. We get into the ancient text. Me and the guys that were training, though, we was really into the Asian Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
We would hang out in Chinatown. We wore if you saw me back then, all you saw me was with frog button shirts. You know what I mean? We would walk around Harlem with our weapons out, because you can't put a spear away. You can't put a spear in your book bag. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we would walk around with chain whips, spears, knives, everything, and out in full view. We're like, we're the gods, and we would be out there building like that. And it wasn't to be defiant, like as far as like bullying. It was to show our power, and we loved this. We loved the culture. We loved the way we was dealing with it. And I started to read the ancient texts a lot, and The Art of War by Sun Tzu is a major one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like, yo, we're in a war here. We're trying to teach things that the populace doesn't see. We're oppressed daily. We're also creating our world, and we're creating works. And that's how I saw it, because even before I emceed or anything like that, I was making hip hop an element by writing creatively and saying that journalism was a creative element of hip hop, because my pieces are prose and poetry fused into the science on the music. And one day, you know what I mean? Thank you to wonderful children and bad relationships, I'm all alone. So I take everything out from the living room. I say, I'm going to sleep in this floor, and I'm only going to train. I'm only going to train, do Kung Fu, or write this book. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to do something for the gods. I'm going to write our perspective of our commentaries. I'm going to write creative commentaries on every aphorism, every passage of The Art of War. And this was not an original idea in the fact that it's never been done. The Thomas Cleary translation, which is my favorite translation of The Art of War, has all of it's a very thick book. So you're like, why is his translation so thick? It's because he actually merged each passage of Sun Tzu's passages with commentaries over the last 100, 500 years from different generals and different Asian Chinese generals and Chinese military men of war interspersed into it. So I was like, well, if they did their commentaries, but I'm fighting out here, and it's like 2000. I wrote this book, the major shell of it, in 2005. No, 2005. And I was like, we got to write our commentaries. Like, how do we see it all? How do we see educating through oppression? This is the type of warfare we was dealing with, not just physical. So I wanted to express all that. So I rearranged the Art of War chapters into like what I thought was in accord with supreme mathematics. And then I just wrote the commentaries, and I did it in a very martial way. If I couldn't finish my required guideline to finish the book, the chapter or a section, I wouldn't go to bed. I would sleep on the floor.
Wow.
I'd taken all the furniture out of the living room. It was a huge living room I was living in at the time. And I would just have music, weapons, weights, workout material. And I would sleep there. I would wheel in a big old, because it's 2005, a big old computer. I would wheel it in and write. And I would just eat on the floor. And then I would sleep on the floor, wake up right. And I would keep training, and I would let the training ignite the passages. And I tried to write them creatively and not just like reiterating what he said. I tried to agree, disagree, augment, but always do it creatively, because that was always a thing with me. And eventually I wrote it, and I knew nobody would want it though, and I called it the Zen of Us because it's my name backwards, but it's like I'm giving you the Zen, the peaceful state of us warriors to the world. You know, this is our Zen. This is the Zen of us. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's only when I started to publish my own books I was like, yo, I got to get this book out. You know what I mean? Along with other stuff that I've written over the years. That's why I have so much material too, because, you know what I mean? So much of my stuff is progressive that people wouldn't publish it, as we talked about the last time we're on the show. So it was definitely with this book. Definitely, they would be like, "What is this? You know, who wants to hear the commentaries of some hood spick into hip hop and dealing with the 5%ers and stuff?" So they wouldn't want to hear those philosophies and our perspectives. So we just, you know, I just kept it for myself. And when I wrote the book, I wrote it as like, because at the time I wrote it, I wasn't being published anywhere. The style of writing that I was engaging in was so next level that people saw me as a problem to publish. Double XL found it difficult to edit my works. Vibe found it difficult to edit my works. So I didn't have much else. And I only got out of that rut because the God Day Son, who's on this cover, love you, God, he became the editor-in-chief of the Source magazine. And he brought me in as news editor. You know what I mean? And I was running out of severance, being downsized from the publishing company I was at. They went, Taylor and Francis in Britain bought it. So I was out in the cold, and the God got me back. But I wrote this when I was down on my luck, you know what I mean? And so all the fury, everything that was in it, you know what I mean? So it's a special book to me, you know what I mean? Because in those years after, I'm a writer, editor. So being in the rut, being down and out, always hustling, that's never not been the case for me, you know? Even when I have like a set job, you know?
Right.
Once I have a set job, the way my life has gone, oppression kicks in, racism kicks in, you know what I'm saying? And so I've dealt with all of that. So this became like mantras that just stayed in my mind continuously. And so now the end of 2022 happens, and I say yes to King Kamal, you know what I mean? And I say, okay, I'll do, because I'm doing all these poems or skits for other brothers that are MCing. I'm in the leftovers, right? I do these art poems because they're really art poems that I did with leftovers, you know what I mean? And I love those poems, you know what I mean? And peace to Prince Power Rule. I love you, big bro. Aguilar, who technically ends up being the first person to release anything I recorded, because he just beat out, you know, he beat out Prince Power Rule.
Right.
You know, because it just came out first, but on the, you know, and to give me my own song, he's the first person to give me my own track, you know, on the Aguilar album that he did with Sadatics. And there's so many people like Spit Gems that told me, yo, if you learn how to say this stuff, you really could do it great. There's so many guys, I always forget all their names and stuff like that, but, you know, I've been around hundreds of artists though, and all of them saw me as somebody that was different than a other kind of reviewing critic. So it just became a natural thing. But when King was like, listen, he kind of had all the facets that would make it easy for me. He's the God. His personality is just, he has such a great temperament. He knows how to teach you, but knows how to do it seriously. At the same time, he was prepared to know what I didn't know, like how to give me a song structure and go in, you know. And when I did that first Mantras Across the Medinas album, the first song was the hardest because it was about relationships. And I was like, oh man, you mean I got to talk about, you know, I ain't ready, you know? And I did. And that's why like some of the beginning songs, they're more in the spoken word flow. That's because I had trouble in the pockets. But I had inspiration to write, but I didn't have like the pockets yet. You know what I mean? So as we went along, some songs I have the pockets and they're rapping. Some songs I lose the pockets because there's Brothers of the Invisible Renaissance. No one will tell me I lost the pocket there. I did. I stumbled the pocket there. You know, even though I love that verse. But then we went along and we had True Cypher Beats, was so easy to rhyme on. We did the Unlearn album, and I calls that my Fife album because I felt so comfortable to try out new things. Like when I did Remember Love, and I did it with the call and response, Remember Love, this, you know, like that still was about women and the relationships I had, but it came out so much more fluidly. And Truth Life has they have a frantic nature, a chaotic vibe in their tracks that it just let me spurt it out. You know what I'm saying? And so by the third album, Burnt Silk and Blessed Builds, and you know the Burnt Silk is because he's the silk peddler.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I always have these references to this
Yes.
silk peddler, because when Far Muhammad came with the knowledge, and that becomes the backbone of teaching Elijah to make the nation Islam, he was disguised as a silk peddler. So because King is slick in the pockets, I was like, I started calling him the silk peddler. Among many other things I call him. We call him King Quincy because he's my Quincy Jones. You know what I mean? So I got all these names. So that's where the Lovo Sinatra thing comes, because if I'm singing all this stuff, he's Quincy Jones, you know?
Definitely. And I have to add, you know, I need to thank you, God, SUNEZ Allah, because you basically, with you guys coming out with the mantras across the Medinas, that was my first introduction to my enlightener, King Kamal.
That's right.
Okay. So I have, you know, gained knowledge of self, you know, through him. We are in the same tree. This is what we were talking about before we went live. We are in the same knowledge tree. This is a representation of family and connections and building, you know. So that's a beautiful thing, you know, and just to see your evolution becoming an artist, these collaborative, you know, albums that you guys did, you know, I even got to like start doing promo for the Burnt Silk and Blessed Builds, you know, album. And ever since then, you know,
that's right.
It's been it's been a great, you know, it's been a great thing. And I got to add, you know, in the excerpt of the book, you know, you even have his photo and a dedication to him within
that's
the book
right.
as well.
That's right. You know, and I couldn't put that. I wanted to have King Kamal in the back, but I didn't have a picture I could use that would fit. So I was like, there's one guy missing that's got to be pictured in the book. You know what I mean? And you know, yeah. So you know, it had to be my brother King Kamal. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So he did the damn thing. You know, you see all the people that I thank. Some of the people, because there's another page of thank yous in there. But
and you know what's so special too about, you know, this photo, you know, just going back into building and him being my enlightener, you know, he's wearing his 120 pin, which you granted to him as well within that photo.
Yeah, he certainly earned that. You know what I mean? Really went through it though, you know, and had all the things I expect a student to have when they knowledge 120. You know, when they learn the 120 lessons in the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth, we learn set teachings and we memorize them. The 120 lessons, we memorize them and we use them to gain an understanding. So we look at life and we analyze them. We don't believe them. We use them to analyze life. And through our lenses of supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet that we were given by Allah the Father, who gave it to his firstborn, and then we're all roots in that tree of firstborns. We learn how to analyze it in life. And you know, he really earned that. He quoted, and he answered everything. Like the thing is, though, is that when he answered, I knew that he was going to be able to use it in life, and that's the most important thing. That it has like a real impact in the way that you build in life. So, man, that's the God, man. That's the God.
Definitely. You know, I had to share that, you know, and like you said, just building and understanding and utilizing it within your life, and it's changed my life, you know, tremendously.
You know, and you know, you started to work and help with the Burnt Silk and Blessed Builds. That album was different than the others because the focus wasn't just on making that album. Once we started to make that album, he also was getting on me saying, you need to start making your solo album now. You know what I mean? Because King Kamal's a label though. He a label though. Like,
yes,
he'd be like, yo, you need to start thinking about this solo album. I'm like, okay. And that's when I started to think about it, like, how would I introduce myself to the world? You know? And I think that my whole life is very ascetic to a lot of people, meaning that it seems very rigidly disciplined, extreme. You're not gonna find me relaxing too often. You know what I'm saying? I'm training 6 days a week. You know what I mean? I'm always writing. I'm always reading. I'm always doing something, and that's how that's how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that I deal with, they just have to learn that that's the way of life. I'm not eating things on like, hey, it's okay not to do it today. Like that don't exist for me. That doesn't exist for me. Like hey, you could do this today. It's only one day. Like this was the day. You know what I mean? Like this was the day. I did it all the other days, so that way today's challenge though cannot corrupt me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I was like, yo, I need them to know that in my heart I'm a warrior. Like I really treat this like that. Like people don't really understand. Like when you teach like this, and I've been able to have a public platform for being a 5%er and teaching at the school this long. Like, I'm the only one to teach here this long, like a set class this long for over 24 years. And it led me to have hundreds of students. Like when I say hundreds, it's not an understatement. And that kind of weight and that kind of responsibility, it keeps me plugging and working. But it also, I wanted to express how difficult and how rewarding it is on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And so I said, you know what, God? I told the God, I said, King, I think the first album I got the theme for it. I told him I got the theme for it. You know what I mean? I'm going to make this album a soundtrack to the book because I finally got to get this book out. After I did like my 4th book, I was like, yo, I got to get this book out. You know what I'm saying? Like I just needed to be out because after I wrote this book, remember I told you I didn't have no jobs. I didn't have no job. I didn't know where I'm like, it was a little bit later than Day Sun hooked me up. And I was like, I may never write again. No one's ever going to read my writing though. But when they encounter this, my children encounter, they know like, yo, this captures my whole life and they'll understand what I was dealing with, my mentality. And so it was really like an opus for me. So I said, yo, I'm going to make this the soundtrack to the album, you know? And, King asks, how do I find balance wearing so many hats? Slowly but surely, it just became everything I am. And that sounds weird, but before I ever had a child or had a life like marriage life where I lived with a woman and was together in a family, I said, let me learn how to do certain things that must be done. So even the ease of being married or with a mate would never corrupt that. And also, even more importantly, when I have children that I love, they would never be the excuse why I couldn't do the things I was great at. So I had, before I even married the mother of my first daughter, because we actually were married civilly, you know what I mean? I was like, I made sure I learned how to train every single morning. You know what I mean? Keep myself in shape. I made sure that I wrote all the time and made sure I had times to write at all times because I saw myself as a writer, you know? Like then it was like I wasn't a writer like that. I was just getting paid places, but me and Day Sun, we really saw ourselves as writers. So I was like, I have to make sure I always write. So like, no matter how lovely it is to be with a woman, I don't want to be like, if you ever see Superman 2? It's like, I saw this kid a million times as a kid. Christopher Reeve, Superman 2. In the beginning, he shows his love to Lois Lane and reveals himself as Superman to her. But he loves her so much that he wants to live like a real life with her. So he gives up his powers. And I was like, man, you crazy? You gave away your powers though? You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if she may not love you later, but the point is though, is that she loves you because you have the powers. That's part of you. He obviously finds out the wrong way because he getting beat up. And other Kryptonians come with powers and he got to beat them up. But I always thought about that. I was like, yo, I don't want to be Superman lying in the bed with no powers though. And I'm supposedly happy, but I can't fight and I can't war and I can't defend the peace that we have in the world at large. So I already had these things set. So this had to be the voice. These things ended up being slowly. So like, then now the way that I eat becomes easy to implement. You You know what I'm saying? It becomes easy to implement because yo,
Yes.
he said he was wearing a silk. So that's why I'll never have a bed with gray silver silk pillows. I'll never have silver silk pillows because I'll feel like Christopher Reeves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have like, yo, I'm giving up my power. But the thing was, all these hats became natural the way I was. You know what I mean? So when people were with me, whether they're other women or stuff like that, they'll have to be used to this first. This is just the way that I am. And it sounds weird, but just like I make time for my children, just like I make time for students, I've been able to make time for the whole world. Whether women I deal with, whether other people that I relationships or friendships and stuff, I do my best to make time that is quality. People don't get like lots of SUNEZ time. Only my kids get that. They get lots of chunks of time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
as they should.
Everybody gets something. So not over time, the best way to explain it, not being able to be a custodial parent, raise my children 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like learning how to use all the time with everyone I'm with as qualitative as possible. So you may only be hanging out with SUNEZ for like 2-3 hours. If we even go to like a show or something, that's a lot of time for me. It's going to be quality though. Like you're going to get, everything. You're going to be with me. We're going to be doing things. If people train with me and they work out, you get like, I'll charge a student to train with me, but man, they get stuff. They'll be training with me for hours though. And they go home done. And supplements to email, everything. So it's like, I just try to do everything as quality. And I wanted that mentality, that way of life that I've had to be expressed in the album, the first album. And that's how it came about, slowly but surely. That's how the songs came about, with that mentality. I had thoughts about how I would do each song and what song. And I read, as I was getting ready to edit it, I really went through with a fine-tooth comb to have some of the language today.
Right.
Styles of writing. There are new styles of writing I've developed for myself, and to update it. And then to say, what parts in here do I want to immediately be part of the song? They are, because I said it was creatively written, a lot of bars are really things that are written here. So I just pull a bar. Like, I just pull a bar. I was like, yo, that's a bar right there. I'll be like, shh, you know what I mean? So like look, I just opened it up. 54, I said, this is part of a passage. I said, civility is the suit that adorns the ugly, the new blood in the old meat, the riddling in the drug-free school zone, the social striving of the grafted. It is many things, supplemental in the time when only the savage sings. The killer arm emotions, arms and limbs of supreme head production, drastic when civility reigns and principles are the articulations of tactics that fulfill desires. Is Islam the golden age of the Moor, or the face of conquerors that found unfamiliar pyramids? The three perfect principles are deranged by the civility of a mystery god. You know what I mean? And the three perfect principles is something I build on heavily in the book, and that's it's described in one of the songs, the title track of the album. So I used the structure of this book to make the album. You know what I mean? And,
that's when I noticed. I caught that because I would read. I'm like, wait a minute. I heard this in the song. I'm going back and forth.
Yeah, I had dog eared a different page, but that one came out when I was just doing this. So, you know what I mean? But the whole the book is written like that. So it's something that, like that term I always use, concentrated supremacy. And I started developing a style like that because I felt like writing in magazines, I couldn't write everything I wanted to, and they would give me a small word count. So I tried to get everything fly, everything dope, everything that they required, everything fly that I wanted to put in, and just squeeze it all in the piece of 200 words. So the only way to do that was like to be so slick with the words, so deep with the words, that I could say a lot with less words. And, MCs like RZA, Jizza, you know what I mean? Later people like Bronze Nazareth, Doom, Remembered Imperfection. They're so influential because they write like that. You know what I'm saying? But all those influences came out in the album. You know what I mean?
They did. And, it's a good segue because we're going to do a song for song breakdown on the album. First of all, we got to start, with the album cover.
The album cover, yeah.
Yes.
Salute to my Leftovers brother, Leftovers NYC, that is the anti-gentrification, let's start over, anti-gentrification collective put together by Prince Power Rule, aka Marcano, who got us all as artists, writers, journalists like myself, graffiti artists, MCs, producers, DJs like DJ Talim, artists like Babito Ross, you know what I mean, aka Laser Guns, got us all together to be part of the Leftovers. And I was like, yo, my brother Paragon does the bulk of my covers though. That's my brother in this, you know. But I was like, yo, I would love to put my Leftovers brother and also get him to add on to one of my covers and stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yo, Babito, yo, what do I got to give you so you could do this? And you know, he gave me the superstar rate, and I told him what I needed because he never did a book before, and I just gave him the dimensions, and you know, he does covers all the time, and we talked a lot, and that's how the cover came about because I wanted to send him the best ways to describe my life, and I sent him these pictures, and when he saw the pictures, he loved them, and he was like, they should go on the back cover. I said, yeah, word, because these people are my life though, and that's why I was like, I am a picture can't come on, and these pictures are so personal to me, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, like Papa Wu, right? The last thing that he said to me was I love you, and then he left. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he returned to the essence, you know what I mean? So like the people that I love, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I want to put all this in there, these three things that I said: the knowledge of self, martial arts, hip hop. These are the things that really define me and extend me to everything else. And he was able to put that, and he was like looking through things. I did not pick the picture. I was like, yo, kung fu, something kung fu, you know what I'm saying? And, there's a picture of me training, and I'm by my dummy and everything, and I'm like, yo, the dummy is perfect to be on the cover because that's like my home. You know what I mean? I joke with my kids. I'll be like, yo, that's my third child right there. You know what I mean? And I don't hit you girls. I never like that. I never like that, hitting children. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whenever I did it, I knew it was the wrong thing, and I stopped that. You know what I mean? Very early, and I never did it again. You know, and but the only thing I hit is that dummy. That's my only child that I hit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you know, it's meditative for me using the dummy, and it's so great that he put it there, because often I use the dummy and then I'll work on the applications after I'm on the dummy, and that picture right there is me working on the applications. And the way I'm dressed there, it's freezing because those are jackets I only wear in the winter. So I train in all weather. People only see videos of, you know, somebody asked me, they only see videos of me when I'm training when it's dry. It's because I got a phone. I ain't trying to wet it recording stuff so you can see me training in the rain. But I train in all weather. If I gotta go out and train in the rain, I go out in the rain. You know what I mean? So, but that was it. And the album is all serious beats. And I before we go song, was literally King Kamal picking the beats for me. This man, he understood the sentimentality, the pockets I use, the tempos I love, and the emotive soul that I needed, and got them all from Serious Beats, who Serious Beats really makes such orchestral beats. You know what I mean? They have so much vibrancy to them. And when he gave him these beats, all of them, I did songs with all of them, and only one of them is not on the album because it's a song called Lovo Sinatra, and it was more B&B and Fly, so it does not fit this. It fits more like the album I'm doing now.
Okay.
So I didn't put that on there, but I had pockets on that. You know what I'm saying? But when I did the album, that's what it was. So they're all produced by Serious Beats except for the bonus track. You know what I mean? Except for the bonus track. You know.
So we're gonna break him down, you know, really quick, you know, peace to the God, Malik Allah, you know, it's not about me. Tonight it's about SUNEZ Allah. So, you know, I will be happy to break down my history, but for tonight, This is about the God, SUNEZ, Allah. You know, it's not about me. You know, so we're gonna stick to SUNEZ here. But I appreciated those supreme
Well,
gratitude.
Earth Same is very approachable, so you can definitely build with her. Yeah, man.
Definitely, definitely. So we're gonna start, with song one. Implement the tools, which we started with.
This song, man, I love that beat, man. King Kamal does the cuts on this. He asked me what to scratch, and I picked the quote. I picked the pieces, the lines from Big Pun and from Common. You know what I mean? And but he cut that up. He got on the digital scratcher and he scratched that up. And that song was done. That's the second song that was done, and it was actually done where I didn't know it was going to be a solo song for my album. That song was done after Mantras Across the Medinas. So the first verse I did, and it just came out. It just came out after Mantras Across the Medinas. I was really confident. So when I made that first verse, he did his, and I was like, "Yo, that's dope. This song is over. Like, we got another one." Right? And he was like, nah, you got to do another one. So, what's funny about that song is that in the first verse, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first verse, I'm going like, I got means, teams, manifestos, ghettos, plans, clans, blogs, monologues, such as the catalog. That's from I'm forgetting her name though. But when they have that thing, that sister that's doing the I got greens.
Yes. Shirley Caesar.
Yeah. When he's going, I got yam, Sam.
Yes.
I was messing with that, and I was like, and not for the album. I had wrote a poem that went on a Don Pacino album review, and I had used that. So those lines, I got teams, means, manifestos, ghettos. It's taken from that poem that I wrote. So
you name it. Yes.
When I did the flow, I was like, yo, it'd be kind of a dope flow to do that. So I took it and extracted out of the poem. I do that a lot with my old poems. I'll take lines that are dope, that will work, and I use it. And that became that verse. But the structure for that led me, the end of that verse, using that structure, led me to do the verse 2, where I go, devil's appetizer, job downsizing, factors capsizing, you love compromising, I stay and a lot. You know what I mean? And to me, I was proud of myself because I know King loved the pockets on that second verse. You know what I mean? And it's an introductory song. I'm letting you know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like what my life is. It's like I was like, yo, this got to be the first song because it's like I literally said peace to salutations, raising expectations. I did 3 albums, so I'm like, yo, I guess I raised the expectations. You know what I mean? This elevation. You know what I mean? Another verse of education. And it still has like my journalist creed. That's why I said at Savage After Parties, Alter Arts activations. Like, yo, whack music and whack lifestyles are ruining the music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Art and art amends with angry sanitation. I'm about to sanitize these, you know what I mean? Throw them out in the trash. But that's really how that song came about. And when we did it, it was supposed to be for another album. Like, I guess the next song we were going to do, right? Which became all True Cypher beats. Because King thought of that and he got all these beats from them. But he gave it to me and said, yo, God, you just keep this. He mastered it for me. And he said, yo, keep that. And I was like, yo, man, thank you, God. Like, shit. And I kind of came off on that. I was happy with that one. So I was like, all right, I'll keep it. And I guess I had something for the solo now. But I didn't think about the solo because we were doing the Unlearn album. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that song is it's a perfect intro song because of what I just said in the first bar. So
it really is. And
yeah.
so
the way he rhymed on that though is so relevant in this election time. About how they use woke and the manipulation of our slang and our way of communicating to alter a propagandist notion. And that fits so well with what I'm trying to share as far as insight in the album, so man, King always do it, and he don't be writing. He just be coming off with that. I'm here writing, making sure that, if I do, I'll do a verse, right? I'll do it. And it's like, no, it's not right. And I go back to the pen. I said, well, we got to take out here, I'm always with the pen and pad doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Him, he's just doing it off the cups though. He rhymes so good off marrying the melodies that are in his mind and marrying those set melodies to the beat that goes in there, and that kind of metronoming his melodies to the beat. He really taught me how to do that, how to get my own melodies that I find and bring them in. I learn about what he's taught me every single song that I make.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's an amazing talent. That's why it's an honor managing him, because sometimes he'll send me some stuff and I'll be like, you said I freestyled that. I'm like, yo, okay. Wow.
The song on Bird Silk and Blessed Builds, AP the Overlord, a piece of God, AP the Overlord. He's on it. Spare Ribs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just did that off the cuff. He's like, yo, this is some shit I just did and everything. I was like, what? And he does the different pitches. Like, man, it's crazy, man. He's crazy. He's crazy.
Genius. So the next we got, Sun Showers, SUNEZ, Reprise.
Yeah. Reprise. I always wanted to use that word somewhere. Reprise. It's so elegant. But it's an elegant word. My favorite album of all time in hip hop. Not all time, with everything. I have like favorites in every single genre, but my favorite album of all time in hip hop is Wu-Tang Forever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that really articulated the final push in my head that I need to. I have to find the people that have 120 lessons, and that was a song that RZA had there. That RZA was on Duck Season, where he said that nothing compares to my seed, my queen and my seed, and 120 lessons. I was like, yo, what is that? You know what I mean? That's the first time I actually acknowledged, like, yo, it's a specific thing to learn. And just the idea of all the gods building and a barrage and being so lyrical and complex and all of their styles in one. That album I love, and RZA's the most, probably now that I've made these many albums,
Mm-hmm.
he clearly is the most influential MC as far as the influence in me rhyming. You know what I mean? So much of my timbre, my tone, my aggression, the way I pack words, it's very RZA influenced. There's no way around it, though, And as a writer of writing about music so long, it's easy to see for myself who's influenced,
Mm-hmm.
And Sun Shower was like such a strong song that he put at the end of the album that he actually put the lyrics in the Tao of Wu book that he wrote as a plus lesson, like a actual teaching of his. So I was like, the song has builds, it has parts of his life, like high school and others, like when the clan is just coming together as just kids. So I was like, yo, I want to do my own. And I had first wrote it as a poem. It was a poem originally. And I was like, I'm going to write about me and training with the gods and how we went up to Marcus Garvey Park and went inside Marcus Garvey Park on 125, went all the way up Mount Morris Park, which is actually about a 6-7 staircase mountain that you have to climb. Mountain of stairs that you have to climb up to get to the mountain. And the very first parliaments, monthly gatherings of the Nation of Gods and Earth were at Mount Morris Park. So that's why I learned to do Kung Fu. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And we would be there in the summer every Saturday from 12 to 7. Just burning so hot that you couldn't put your hands on the concrete. And I know it was hot because he made us do push-ups on the concrete. You know what I'm saying?
You felt it, literally.
Because people see me do other things.
Mm-hmm.
When I was young, I battered my hands so bad I can't do it yet. Again, I could probably do it with like maybe 4, maybe 3. But I used to be able to do 2-finger wave push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like on the 2 fingers and just doing wave push-ups. And we would do that out in like burning concrete and do stuff like that and all the Kung Fu stuff. And so I wanted to write about that experience. You know what I'm saying? So like when I say stuff like we was G Life, that was what we called ourselves, G Life. We was calling ourselves G Life. A lot of us were musicians. We were a collective. And amassed at the top of Mount Morris Park with the great Seagung, Bobby Lee Whitaker, who learned us 180 moves through Bianzing Metamorphosis. What he taught us was what he called it Bianzing. Bianzing means metamorphosis. And it was basically like you learn all the moves that you learned, but you so creatively put them together yourself that there are 180 moves, like endless combinations. And each one of us being of different body types and temperaments, we have our own 180 moves that we always do at any moment. You know what I mean? And so that's what I meant by that. And like all these things, like Wiser Mel of 52 hand blocks, practice roundhouses off seeing eternal. King, he showed me Iman Sirum Tao. This really happened. Like these things really happened. True Asiatic coil that sprung the monkey style. Like we used to have different ancestors. That's why I got the Iron Butterfly name. You know, so when I didn't make that up, you know what I mean? It was one day that was like, yo, God, you're the Iron Butterfly. You know what I'm saying? And it was certain things that I was doing that was, you know, I'm smaller and I was moving in such a way that was rapid but circular. And then they just start calling me that, the Iron Butterfly. You know what I mean? Yes, Bobby Lee Whitaker still here. Seagung is still here. You know what I mean? And yo, we train crazy. And I just wanted to let that off there. So like in the beginning, there's so many references. There's like a really, really packed song. Like people write other stuff. And I was like, yo, if I do music, I want to do something that people don't do. I don't want to be afraid of like about hooks and nothing like that. I just want to pack stuff in, you know what I mean? And that's why it packs so many references to my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll let some of them without getting in trouble. You know what I mean? I think like Pop Ham to Hellwood. Pop Ham is a real avenue. It's called Popum, but I call it Pop Ham. That's a real place in the Bronx. Elwood is a place in Washington Heights. Those two places happen to be where I had relationships with the mothers of my daughters. So I survived that. So I call it Pop Ham and Hellwood. You know what I mean? These are references that they're just for me. You know what I'm saying? They're just for me. And I share with people. They make the rhymes sound crazy. You know what I mean? Things like TOP from BAT. BAT is a plus lesson that I write, that I give people. Build awareness, of your square. Build awareness of your square. That's a plus lesson I wrote. You know what I mean? TOP from BAT. So like these are all references to things that I have. But if you listen to other things, like I'll just say things in a different way. And I was trying to, the voice that you hear in the song, I'm literally imitating RZA. It's just that I can't do it RZA imitation, so it just comes out like this. You know what I mean? So that's my RZA imitation. So on the song, it comes out like that. So. And then it's a long verse. They're long verses, so I kind of don't have it the whole way. But it just comes out like that. So I say things in the cadence that he would say. So like words like strengthage do not exist, but he said that on the song. In the what dope verse he has on Diesel, song called Diesel, on a Wu-Tang Clan song, Diesel, on the Soul in the Hole soundtrack, 97, because RZA's peak was really 1996-7 as far as lyricism. And he said strengthage. So I used the word strengthage. So I was like, what did I say? Inspired by RZA verbatim economy. RZA word for word economy. And I said, Skillustrator collate the villain's cut rate with the supremacy of our birth rate. Born things to the definition of a square. He said that. Born things to a definition of a square. He said that on Triumph.
Yes, he did.
Devils beware, let the triangle of strength is. And when I say triangle of strength, is like, see, it's a lot of kung fu. Triangle of strength is in Wing Chun, means that you see how I made a triangle? The bottom is my torso, and then this makes the other parts. When in Wing Chun, your punches go through the triangle from through your center line into theirs. So your strength is focused inward. So that's what I meant by that. But I'm saying it in the way RZA writes, you know what I mean? The way he rhymes, you know what I mean? Because it's very influential to me, you know? But then I say things like him, but I'm just saying simple things, but they just said complexly, like when I said similes, like standing in front of a cold baby mama's fortress, that's waiting for my children. Because sometimes I would say, yo, I'm here. You could bring her downstairs, but they would make me wait. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It would be the winter. And sometimes in winter, I would be outside in the cold for about an hour waiting for them. And I don't want to call up and complain, because then say, well, you can't see her. So I just, really bear it. I bear the cold. I bear all this. You know what I mean? So that's why I said, waiting for the release of your Miss Little Princess. And then I said, oral choices, like the oral choices of what you'll say go from Tupac middle finger renderings to Stevie ribbon in the sky, wondering, because when they finally come out, I forget about all that. I ain't angry no more. I don't care. They're here. I got them. You know, and so like I just want to run away. I run away with my kid. I run away. I'm like, yo, she's finally here. Like, we run away. You know, and I just was trying to express all these things that I went through, and it has references to a lot of stuff. Like, yo, I was going nuts. To go nuts. Like, I'll put this one. Look, the Savior. It just sounds good, but it's really like when I said the Savior singing love in the arms of charity, needing some buxom heavy green leaf, right? Savior singing loves in the arms of charity, right? Like, it just means that we're giving things that we think are beautiful to people. But when I said needing some buxom heavy green leaf, it sounds like I'm saying like I need some big money. But it's really a reference because at the time, I had written this a while ago, so I was watching that show Greenleaf. Remember Greenleaf?
Remember that?
One of the characters' names is Charity, and I'm saying the sister was fine. So and she was buxom. If you know what buxom means, it means very voluptuous. So I was like, needed some buxom heavy green leaf. So it's just like she's just fine. So I was saying like putting things in there that just like, yo, it just goes and it just sounds kind of dope in there. You know what I mean? But it was kind of a no, because I know that my brothers that did learn Kung Fu with me that all these years, like, I just wanted to honor them though, because it was such a wonderful time in my life. You know what I mean? Those years learning Kung Fu with the gods, and, you know, it was such a camaraderie. Like, it was one of the greatest times of my life, really. And I would learn and then go home, and I have my little girl and like my first daughter, and she's like 2 or 3. And then we would watch Justice League cartoons, and I would buy ice cream, vegan ice cream, which, by the way, wasn't that good at the time. It wasn't good, but it was, you know, it was all we had. So it was, you know, when you're vegan, it was all that existed. But we would buy that, and then we would have fun. So it was like I'd be all sore and everything, but I would feel so achieved. And then we would watch cartoons. I was like, yo, to me, seriously, at that time, like, I was in a state of bliss of learning. And I thought I had it all figured out. Family life, I was like, I have everything. I had all the things RZA talked about: the Queen, the Seed, 120. You know what I mean? And I'm learning Kung Fu. You know, you do Kung Fu and just fooling around as kids and stuff. And now I'm learning it though. And my Seagung Bobby Whitaker, the reason I love him so much is that I said, Bobby, how much does this cost? He said, no, you just work hard. If you come here and don't work hard, you're gonna have to pay me. I said, man, you ain't got to say nothing else. You know what I mean? Right. And he taught me this for free. You know what I'm saying? Taught me this for free. And I have moments and select moments where I've trained with Shaolin monks and stuff. And trust me, you have to pay. You know,
I'm sure. Yeah.
And I'm like, and you know, rightfully so, they got to make a living. But he did not. You know, he did not. He just gave it to us freely, and it was a beautiful thing. You know, and I really think it's because his life, our Seagull Bobby Whitaker, he went through a lot, and he was kind of the rebellious student, and so he wasn't always acknowledged by his Seagun, but he also was in the street, and he got shot. He got shot in the head, and he survived it. So if you ever see him up close, he has an indent on his head. You know what I'm saying? And he walks with a limp because of that, like the faculties. Boy, he's made out of steel. So if you try to get one on him, forget it. You know, you think, oh, it's just a cripple and stuff. Yeah, it's like Yoda in the Star Wars. Yeah. Then when it's time to move, you know, and I think teaching us gave him vitality, and it made him train harder. And so I really think that's why, you know. But he's just a beautiful person. And so I was just trying to encapsulate that whole experience, though. You know what I'm saying? And declare who I am. You know what I mean? Obviously, the way it ends, it declares who I am in the same structure that RZA ended the song as well. So I love that song. That song would have been on there. It's just more personal for me than anything else. You know what I mean? So it's a personal song.
I like that. I like that. So then next we have Teacher Pax featuring DJ Toshi.
My man, DJ Toshi, man. Again, this album and this book it's just all about people that I love. You know what I mean? And DJ Toshi, man. There's nobody I've met in hip hop that is so selfless and does it and has done so much in hip hop that I relate to for no money. You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't matter that we don't get paid for doing the podcast. You know what I mean? And we just do it because we love it. And I love doing things with him. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to doing the scratches, you know, it was like, yo, I want some cuts because I had thought of a song, and this song I had thought of because I had the beats. Now I had the beats. And I'm thinking like, this song is tough. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about my life, and I'm like, yo, I'm a teacher of Pox. I was thinking about all the students I've taught, how wonderful they are, but I was also thinking of students that did devilish what I taught them. I was thinking about students that I taught that died, that got killed. Like when you teach this many, everything happens to them. Students that had struggle. I have students that have done so many great things. Like they'll be valedictorians at their college and they have trouble getting a job because that's the way the world is, this market. You know what I mean? And all these things I was thinking, I was like, yo, I got students that they have so many different personalities because most people that teach this knowledge of self, they're teaching in the streets, so they draw up people that are like them for the most part because you have to be with them all the time. So the ones you end up teaching the most tend to be most like you. I teach in the school. The majority of the time is from the school, also the street, also through all these other mediums, right? There's so many, but mainly through the school. So I teach all types of people that are different from me, and they become friends, they become family. And I was like, yo, they got all different types of personalities. Like, yo, who is like that? That's a rebel, militant, revolutionary, does all these different things, has all these different talents. I was like, yo, I'm a teacher of Pox. So wild out when they get the knowledge. Some students build when they get down. Some students get creative. I was like, yo, I'm a teacher of Pox because I taught every type of vibe, you know? And that's what the song was. And the beat was fury. It was like intense. So, you know, it was like, what am I bringing? That's why I said, this is the collapse of facts. Truth's volumes off racks. Like, in other words, all the truth that there is, like everything we're just throwing it off the shelf. Like we're throwing everything out there, you know? And the first verse is a lot of wordplay to declare myself for that as that teacher. You know what I mean? So like there's wordplay that people may not get, even for like us 5%ers. Like when I said, so that you see Allah rule and never tire. So you see my rule, my rulership over this, and you don't tire. But see Allah rule is C-A-R in the supreme alphabet. And then tire is the car's tire. So you see Allah rule, never tire. You know what I mean? And, you know, damn the gentrifier, drive them away in park, weapons perfect in play. So I played with that whole car metaphor, you know what I'm saying? But in this, I was really just trying to layer it though, you know what I mean? And also practice some breath control because I had to really practice this, like at the end, where I said, because once passed over, harassed over, because they discover our turnover, takeover, handover, force our submission, moreover. What was it I said? But I won't voice over. Dozer is a bulldozer. Those are songs cross over. The empower composer never slumped over. One of the uncanny leftovers. It was like an ode to the leftovers. You know what I mean? And the second verse is really where I talk about like what I teach. That's why I said militants of benevolence. Revolutionaries of evidence, because that's how I see all the people I've been able to share with. You know, they bless me by what they become, not the other way around. I didn't make them become that. I wanted them to learn what I shared and be as great as they can be, however they decide that. But this is what I was blessed with. The students became militants of benevolence, revolutionaries of eminence, the stylists of decadence. Because some of them, man, they're amazing. And I said they're trained at Pox and many residents. And, you know, when I said the ones that toss the medallion when it's time to return them, that's a reference to Ghostface Killer in the movie Mystery of Chess Boxing, where he gets his name. Because in Mystery of Chess Boxing, the evil Ghostface Killer mastered all 5 elements and came to kill everybody that wouldn't teach him all the elements. And so he would throw a medallion before he would teach him, before he would kill him. He would, you see the medallion, like, oh no, Ghostface Killer, he's about to kill me. I said the ones that toss the medallion before it's time to return them, but then the others that floss the medallion, right, when it's an hour to attract them. So some students, they'll wild out. Other students, they'll floss and attract you, you know? So like, it just was a lot like, and I just expressed everything, you know, like the curriculums of bench press sets and 120 quote sets. It's like all the things I'm teaching, how to thrive alive and adjust the jive and revive. But it also says some things like, and I have taught them even as they lie. Some students, they lie to me. Always care even as they recklessly dare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, send kites. Kites is letters to prison. You know, when their flight is spurned. You know, like when they get locked up. I have many students get locked up. More and so when one returned, because I had some return. Most people would definitely know this one. My brother Kevlar 7. You know, the brother of Bronze Dancer, who was a great MC producer. He was my student. You know what I mean? And he was really great. He was on his 120. You know what I mean? And he passed away, you know. And I, you know, found them in the belly of the beast, right, locked up, guide them to the fields of peace. So, you know, it's really about just sharing that I'm going to share this though, and they're going to be great, and because they've been great, you know. And I'm declaring that. I'm declaring that I told us, because one of the things that like me and Ken, we're like, yo, man, we do all these songs and people act like we really live these lyrics, you know, like I'm telling you I'm a war, I'm telling you a fight, like, yo, I really live this. Like I really stepped to people. I really did those things. Like if I, you know, like in the other songs like Sunshine, when I said we was taking them, if they were selling out flags and, you know, we go to tables, like we was really doing that. We was really doing that, you know? So like, that's what it was. And, you know, Teacher of Pockets was like that tough declaration, you know? And I know King Kamal loves that song. He loved that song. You know what I mean? When I sent it to him, I sent him that song and Lunch Hour at the same time. And because I did them both. I wrote them both because I told you Sunshower was a poem I wrote a long time ago. So I just it's the pockets and make all of it rhyme and practice it. So Teacher of Pox was the one that I really ended up doing that weekend completely. And I said, I'm going to record them all in one time. Yo, I had lost my voice doing it because I do a lot of takes. I feel like something is wrong, and I keep trying again and again. And he loved that song when I did it. So it's like the early songs, like when I finally have the beat pack, and I'm like, you know, yeah. So it was like the first set of songs, you know, because we already have 2 songs in the stash, but I put them in the album. I didn't know there was going to be the album. These I knew, you know. Yeah,
that's right, living it. And then so next we have we've got the Peace Course Decree, the skit.
It's just a skit, but like it's a Shaw Brothers movie, Kung Fu Instructor. And when back in the days, we, like I said, we love the Chinese culture. We watch mad Kung Fu movies. And one day I might have seen that like in 2002 or 3, and I'm teaching at the school, and I'm watching that movie because I see so many. I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, that part comes on, and I'm like, I'm with the gods. I'm like, yo, that's me. That's me. Because teaching, you know, a lot of people will tell you to do this, get more students, don't do this. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to give up the integrity of what I'm doing. And I won't do that. And everything and I was told by certain people that they meant well. But they were like, yo, don't teach them everything you know. And I was like, yo, I don't want them to keep coming back to me. I want to be able to go into the world. So if I only have them for this one time, I'm going to tell them everything I think that they could use. You can never teach anybody everything you know, but I'm going to give them everything I think that they could use. And so that became a thing. And like, as King knows, like even recently, certain people had a kind of a way about what I was doing. And I literally lived the skit out again. You know what I mean? Like again. And people know, if they know what I'm talking about. But I'm always there. I'm always going to teach everything I know. You know what I'm saying? To whoever I think could really, really use it. So that was important to me. That was a very important movie scene in my life. You know what I mean? Movie scene. You know. So I love that skit. I love that skit being there. You know.
Definitely. So then next we have the Encryption 2 featuring King Kamal.
This is the King Kamal course. This I had to do so many times. King would call me or he would leave a message because God, see, the thing is, God, that's what he started. That's not quite, you know what I mean? Like he was like, if you notice the song is like it's got especially with the tempo and BPM that rappers rhyme now, right? That's certainly rapping. Inscription 2 is definitely rapping, especially with the BPM that people hold today. But because people are used to hearing me also being a poet, they see that as a spoken word, but it's not. It's I'm holding the pockets, I'm rapping, but I'm doing it slow because the way I wrote the song, it's not dense content wise, it's dense poetically. The structure is very poetic and it's very dense, you know what I mean? So like it doesn't seem like I'm saying a lot, but if I say to learn, there's really a violence in it all. Where a build is a destroy, a pass that's taking a fall. You cannot just absorb that in one take. You have to kind of think in your head, what does that mean? A build is a destroy, a past is taking a fall. Every time we create something, the past has been destroyed. So a build is a destroy, a past is taking a fall. And then I said how one blames hand's pen that empties still. You know, so like it empties until it's done. It's empty, right? Or page shining ink from mine fills. You know what I mean? The ink is filled with ink and it's shiny because I filled it from my mind. You know what I mean? The ignorance that questions attacked. All right, our questions attack ignorance, led by the assignments to answer that stack. So the assignments are when questions mount up. You know what I mean? That's what an assignment is. You know, an exact to an old abstract. You know, like everything, especially this first verse, everything is so dense. You know. So now I'm talking about the way I write. I'm right, like my art is denoting the bliss of this unity. A lot of times I love to write because I want people to see the beauty of the way things are written, the word. The art is denoting the bliss of this unity, a sacred word, like in the song I had, Our Swords, because I was a magazine, I had Our Swords, Our Sacred Words, a sacred word exploding through adversity, friction of thought, because the mind is burning, right? Upon the beauty of heart, right? So everything I was trying to do was like really be layered. And then there's certain, you know, things like just being clever. Like you think you're free of will, but just a Smith in the Matrix kneeling because, you know, it's Agent Smith's, you know, you're just doing the work of Agent Smith. Box office fee of Jada Pearl's reeling. Because I had just read, when I'm fixing this verse, I had just finished reading out of curiosity Jada Pinkett's autobiography, and I found it to be the most disingenuous, most bullshit book I've ever read in my life. The way she was lying and contending, I was like, yo, I was like, yo, man, I was just grateful I didn't have a relationship that bad.
Yeah.
Bad. You know what I mean? So that was in my head when I wrote that, you know what I mean? But even then I was thinking about like Trump and Jay-Z, and I was like, is it re-elect a millionaire or play the record of the billionaire? And it's like sometimes in the pop world, we're like, just these are the choices we're given. We're not going deeper to see, is it just Trump has better promises than Kamala? This is the choice that we have. Is it re-elect a millionaire? That's a choice we have. Or listen to the record of that billionaire, because that's what they think is the choice. Is like, do we listen to this other rich rapper? You know what I mean? And that's not, it's got to go deeper. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's one of my favorite verses, one of the favorite things I read, because to me, it's a song I think sounds beautiful, but it also reads beautiful. You know, I think like when I said, there's a texture to these lectures, a splendor in architectures, a path, a mental blend that is my testimony. This is the blackest pedagogy, built against a sinful wrong by the willful strong. In this skillful song, superbly sewn, a kite creatively grown, flown in the form of our own. You know, I just love the way that this shit came off. And I did the second verse so many times. Yo, King a million times. Then one, I really felt I got it. And you know what the thing is? Learning is crazy, because once I really knew that I got it, I actually did get it. He was like, yeah, you did get it. I was like, King, I know I got this one. And he was like, yes, you did. I finally got it. When I wasn't sure I got it, he was there to call me and say, you didn't get it. You know, when I was hoping I got it, I didn't get it. When I knew I got it, then he was like, yes, you got it. You know, and it was just fun. And certain things, I'm just giving imagery of like Gaza, the colonization of Gaza is like the colonization of Puerto Rico. The chemo, the lie that chemo will cure your father. My father had just passed away, you know? So these songs are being done like right after my father passed away. So it was very emotional, the songs, especially Inscription. So I had to put that in there. And that's why the spoken word versing was hard to balance and just get it into versing, because I had so much emotion I was throwing into the verse. I was reflecting and emoting so much, but I had to. It meant a lot to me, this verse. You know what I mean? And like it's a part 2 of the Inscription, which people liked a lot. That I had a lot of deep stuff, so I wanted to give like, this is the wisdom, this is the ways, the curriculum, and that's why I ended like we train. What's today's mathematics? We train like, this is the way we train. We train ourselves. You know, quote 120 out of Arcane, because 120 is really arcane unless you understand it. You know, defeating the demeaning wielders of sacred word, convening past durations of devastation. Creators in their own creation, which is one of the things I've always taught. We're creators in our own creation. You know, and then this is just a curriculum. You know, the Inscription wisdom. You know, but the songs, loved it. But I think what makes it really such a beautiful song is like King's tones. I didn't even mention that King Kamal harmonizes very subtle on the background of Sun Shower Reprise.
Yes, he does.
Very close, so you can hear him harmonizing through it. He gives it a body, the track. On this one, he just made that chorus. Like, yo, I gave him the song. He said, okay, let me work with this guy. He needs a chorus. I was like, I don't know what to do for the chorus, though. You know? He calls me back and goes, yo, God, I did this, man. Yo, it had to be less than a half hour, though. My voice is done. I worked hard on this song. And I'm like, yo, I want to eat. I want to relax. And I'm like, waiting. I didn't have to wait long. He came back and just...
I'm not surprised at all. That's why I'm laughing.
I didn't feel pressure. You know why, King? I didn't feel pressure because the beat was so beautiful to me, right? And I knew that I was going to do something even more emotionally based. And much of this poem that makes the first verse, I had already written. And I knew that, to me, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? To me, it was beautiful, you know? In fact, I was dating a woman that I wrote a lot of poetry to. Every woman I date, seriously, like if I'm really with them, they be getting a lot of poems, though. So they might even make a book themselves. Like they all get together, like every woman I ever been with. I don't know if I like all the poems, though. You know, again, but I was very like poetic and very like emotive when I was writing this. So it came out like that, you know what I mean? And yeah, with the way he sang the chorus, like she was beautiful, man. Like, yeah, King is, yo, I be joking, like King is my most def, though, you know what I mean? So I just gotta be like, I gotta make sure not crowd the bar like Kweli, you know what I mean? Just don't crowd the bar with everything. You know, I gotta make sure that, you know, I put more emotion into it and all of that, you know. But man, King really took that song with the chorus to me. It's incredible. I love it. You know, I love it.
Definitely. So then next we've got Kobe.
Kobe. You know, that acronym, Keep On Building Everywhere, that was something I thought of as a poem after he died. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it's so personal, but like my life became very difficult, and it started with Kobe passing away. My second major relationship with my second mother's daughter, right? Daughter's mother. That relationship ended like right after Kobe returned. You know what I'm saying? I thought Kobe was such a great teacher, such a great educator. You know what I'm saying? He had a great way of teaching what he knew. People could think about basketball. No, he has the gift of teaching. You know what I mean? And I love that he was a girl dad. You know what I'm saying? And that he was, you know, doing all this, you know, because you know, growing up, people always make you feel bad. You didn't have the boy, this and that. The guys, definitely. The older guys, they used to be like, oh, where'd you go? You know, like, I'm not going to keep planting seeds in the whole world endlessly just to make a boy. I'm not a king of a country, you know what I mean? And have a throne. Like, I made the children that I have the time to care for and love.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, man, like, yo, we talk about boys, man, I done raised thousands of boys, you know what I mean? Like the way
Yeah.
I got plenty of sons,
Mhm.
like that. So I'm good. But like, all these things happen. I was like, yo, Kobe was always on my mind because he was such an inspiration to me. And he continues to be inspiration because he learned from who he thought was greatest, who I think is the greatest, Jordan, and he made something amazing out of it. And I just think that that's such an inspiring thing. You know what I mean? So I listen to these guys like RZA. I listen to everybody else that's great. You know what I mean? The Rakims, the KRS One, and we could do something great too. You know, and I was like, yo, I got to make a song honoring him, and I found like the piece of it because it's a little quote of him in an interview. And I say, yo, God, can you put this in between the choruses and stuff? And I wanted to be more of a rugged beat because the song is really about me fighting. So, you know what I mean? That's why I'm noting a lot of things like a lot of darts. You know what I mean? Like clothing FBA by FBI, shoes by CIA, walk blind by day. Because at the time we were seeing just beginning, it went nuts how people were trying to take away people's birthrights or the legacy they have is like Boricuas and hip hop, all these kind of things. People was even saying like, yo, SUNEZ, you're not even black. Like, this is internet people, not people that know, you know? And I'm like, yo, we always have to be defending our birthright, like who we are, all these kind of things. So I've tried to put all of those things that I fight daily in that verse. That's why, you know, I already had smoked them on Burnt Silk and Blessed Bees, but we had a corny rapper that I was talking about students. He was a failed student. He didn't even get to be a POC. He was just like straight devil.
Yeah.
He was a failed student. And I said, listen, you cannot learn with me no more because you're not, you know what the task was? The task was the next time we build, only talk positively or ask questions of what you want to learn. That's because all he do was like talk about how he was scorned by him, they, and them, you know? And I was like, yo, you're never, because yo, if we do that, right, we'll be here all day.
Exactly.
All day. Like, yo, we're oppressed here. Like, you're going to tell me that we got time to keep talking about what people do to us? And he couldn't do it. I said, yo, man, it was literally like I was watching Ghostbusters with my daughter, and he's interrupting me with like text messages about this DJ producer that did him dirty with no proofs, of course. He has no proofs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, in my mind, I didn't say this. I was like, yo, I know who you're talking about, and that guy's good with me. Like, he's a white guy, so he must be a devil. And I was like, yo, in my mind, I'm like, yo, this man is really a good guy. Like, I know him. He's a great artist, and he bought I'll give you one thing, like just people stand up. He bought books from me.
Mm-hmm.
They got delivered. They got left outside because he was on vacation. They got soaked, and it went through packaging, and the books got soaked. I said, yo, man, I'll send you another one. Don't even worry. Man, he bought new ones immediately off the love. He just bought new ones. I was like, man, you ain't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, this guy's been standing up with me forever.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell him that. I was just like, yo, man, I thought we were supposed to keep it positive, though. I said, yo, I'm with my kid now, so I'm not even going to listen to these voice messages. It's like, imagine somebody sending you like 15 1-minute voice messages. I'm like, yo, I ain't got time to click all this stuff.
That's insane.
You know what I mean? I'm watching a movie. I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yo, it was funny. For the first time, because like all year, I might eat like 3 bags of chips all year, like as a treat.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of them. And I was like, yo, I'm literally eating a bag of chips and you're interrupting me like the one bag of chips I eat. I was like, nah, man, like we'll do this later. That's what caused all of it though. He just felt like, oh, this, that. So we made the diss songs about him. On the Burnt Silk and Blessed Bees, I smoked them. But I had to reference it because it just fit well. I said, culture ain't freedom, hate self into tyranny. Watch it all climb down from fecal, right? Shit piles, that's what fecal is. Shit piles of Sam Hill, fecal piles of Sam Hill, because that's
yes.
Sam Hill. His name means devil. His rhyme name means devil. Hatred erotica, have clowns take bad spill. Yo, when I said hatred erotica, erotica is when you get obsessed with something, and for him it's hatred erotica. And I'm mentioning that now and breaking down specific bar because I had to. He started to stalk me and call me at all hours of the night that I had to download an app to block unwanted phone calls because it wouldn't work. It wouldn't block him. Right? So then I don't deal with him no more, right? Then, like the other day, this week, right? He actually emails me and goes, "Yo, I heard the punk song you did, and I got one for you." And like, he's dissing King Kamal. He's dissing everybody. So I said, I sent it to King Kamal and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And first battle rap that he had sent was actually saying that he was glad that my old earth, who passed away years ago, that she's glad that she was dead. This is
that's devilish, man.
People are dissing me about anything about my life. He had to insult my mom that passed away already, and he never met her. Like, just even Jay-Z never did that to Nas. Nas never did it to Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Dre didn't do that to Eazy-E. You know what I mean? You would never go there. I was like, yo, I emailed him back and said, yo, you went beyond battle. This is not even hip hop no more. Like, we're not on this page anymore. He sends me another song, and I just take the time to see how stupid it was. It was whack as fuck. Had nothing to say about me. But now he sends me a song where he's gonna violate my children and certain other rappers that was down with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, like, some people do so much devilishment. It's just crazy. And so, like, the Kobe song is like, yo, sometimes you fight and they don't know. They don't know that I'm the God. IDing me wrong. That's why I said that. You know what I mean? And all those moves, like, they just John Doe's my arm tongs, because like when you fight, it's like your arms become tongs. They trap everything. On Mook Jong. Mook Jong is a Wing Chun dummy. That's what it's called. Mook Jong. Defend my throng. Horse stance, keep the legs chiseled. Invade in Hungar stride. Hungar is a very rooted kung fu style that I learned. A rooted swivel. So it's really what it is, a rooted swivel. And I show it to people. Bang Sao, right? Bang Sao to Kwang Sao, right? What else did I say there? I said Bang Sao to Kwang Sao, free arm, right? Free arm tiger strike to Jung Sao. So I'm saying I'm doing that on the dude, you know what I mean? You know? So I just wrote that there. So like, it's really me fighting, and I want to make a more physical song about fighting because it's the art of war. So that was like the physical song. I love that song because I did that after Inscription. I made that song, and I was like, I really was comfortable in the pockets, you know, in the wordplay. You know what I mean? Like, when people see the wordplay, like, where was the wordplay with the, forget where it was. When I said, you need immortal techniques to see effects of stocks, poison pens, cash and dead press for mental blocks. Those are immortal technique, dead press, and poison pen. You know, peace to all of them, because poison pen is my man, and immortal technique, man, that's a great dude. You know what I mean? Great dude. You know what I mean? Did a lot of good things for me. You know what I mean? Like, really is a revolutionary. You know what I mean? Really, that's another MC that really lives out the lyrics. You know, like, if people like, I like his music, but I don't know if he actually. Nah, if you need to listen to somebody that live out the lyrics, or the technique, man. That's what I gotta say. Like, that's that dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kobe's physical fight song. It's really physical fighting. You know? Yeah. I love making that song. Have fun doing it. You know.
Great song, you know. And then now we have the title track, The Zenobus.
I got teary-eyed recording it, and so did King Kamal listening to it, you know, because I tried to express how difficult it's been. Like, I've dealt with a lot of loss teaching and being this, you know, I can't be no other way. This is what I am. But doing all these things, I lost a lot. I lost a lot that people would have never wanted to give up or been too scared to give up. You know what I mean? Relationships, marriages, all these things. And I tried to express that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like floating and floundering, fighting and flailing, never fluctuating, you know what I mean? And in the winds of conforming convenience, like, this is the things that are all around us, winds of conforming convenience, you know? things that make it easy. You don't have to be like this. You could do other ways. You don't have to, you know, everybody's always trying to get me to not be so intense about certain things. But when they need the products of that, then they're there, you know? But so I said a military man, like conspired in expedient tempo, rhythm the soul's manifesto, a military mandate set in tone. This is my life. This is what I set. Decided to be this. When I wrote this, I decided to be this, you know? So when I share it now as an album in the book, I really became this. Like, this is me already having been this. I did all this, you know what I mean? And so I'm mentioning things like the training, you know, with the different weapons, you know, the type of styles. But the telling line is like a healing Krishnamurti feeding unwanted philosophies. Like Krishnamurti is one of my favorite modern philosopher, like of our time. He died in 86. And he's such a beautiful philosopher. And Jiddu Krishnamurti was also very ascetic. He was very rigid with certain things, wouldn't do certain things. And other great philosophers of his time, like Osho, would actually like say, why do you have to be like that? You could enjoy life a little bit. People look at me that way too. You know what I'm saying? So I always related to Krishnamurti, but sometimes you feel like you're a philosopher giving unwanted philosophies, like you're trying to share how it would help. And a lot of times they don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? And it happened all the times. It happened with health, all the kind of stuff. I give them advice. They don't want to do it. They want to ask, but they don't want to do it though. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that first verse is really like, poor righteous teachers taught sharings. We were taught sharings. Like we were taught how to share, and we taught things to share in steady commitment. Like we would never not be committed to this, battered and stumbling just to build upliftment. Like we, you know, we take lumps. And it was also an ode to like all of the elders I've been around. I've been around so many elders that passed away. I mentioned Freedom, Knowledge Me, Umala, Firstborn Prince, Infinite Al-Jamar, I was with them every day, you know what I mean? Like Achman, like so many great elders, Dr. Janelle, you know, and so it was like an ode to them, like we steady commitment, you know. And that's what I said, will they ever remember us? All we gave was the Zen of us. Like this is what I call that. All these sharings that I give is the Zen of us, you know. And that's where the chorus came out. In fact, when I heard the beat, I made the chorus immediately. I hate doing choruses. I always try to do all the choruses because why would I try to do them? I can't sing. I can't harmonize like him. You know, like, yo, you're like, he's my Mos Def. I'm like, yo, like, we got to use you. He's like Mos Def and Method Man collided. You know what I mean? Like, you could do any chorus. But this one, for some reason, it just came to me. And I took the challenge, like, yo, it's my album. I got to be responsible for some of these choruses, you know? And it just came to me first because the beat worked. Beautiful. It was so, it had the melancholy. It was somber. And that's what I wanted for this, you know? And the second verse is probably the most important verse I've ever written, you know, in my whole life, because it has my mentality, but it also has who I do it all for. So when it starts out, by the light of venerated moonlight and sacred soul, venerated moonlight. My daughter's name is Luna Luz. It means moonlight. And sacred soul, my other daughter's name is Alma, which means soul. So by the light of venerated moonlight and sacred soul, this word is bound and sealed to every scroll. But I could never not love you. I will tear my eyes out with glass shards just to further your vision. But the key in this verse is that I said I silenced the world to hear decisions, and I'm saying all I do for them. But then I also say that exclamations of devastation, like we exclaiming that we'll destroy all this devil civilization, but it ain't so easy. And that's what I was saying, like glamorizations of cessation. It just feels like glamorizations when we say we'll destroy all this, because it's an ever mutating plantation. It keeps switching on us. You know, we think we have it one way, this devilish shrimp, but then it becomes something else. It defies quick identification. So like for me, my whole life, I feel like a lot of times it's like we're warriors in deadlock. I'm training, right? It's like, I'll put it this way, like real serious for people that I'm training to defend my children at all costs. But then the mothers of my children aren't with this relationship. And now the kids aren't with me to even defend them. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the kind of things how things fluctuate. I didn't know my life was gonna be like that. You know what I'm saying? So like now it's like, damn, I trained to defend them, and like, damn, this plantation be mutating. You know, like oppression just changes. Now it's totally different. Like I'm training and I'm in deadlock because now I can't even defend them. Now I have to teach them how to do it really good. You know, and so that's why I said, to be adorned and walk is to be scorned and stalked, because it's like the more you do, the more it shows, the more you're adorned, but then the more you're scorned and stalked, you know, the more hate you get. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know, the more I teach, the more people see videos, the more hate I get. I got the most trolls. I got the super trolls. You know what I mean? King, no, man, we got the most trolls. So like,
I feel you.
so like, that's why I said it. I love this word. Like I said, keep lab lonely, burn bridges and principal fires. Because in hip hop, I burned lots of bridges. Every magazine that I left usually was a burnt bridge. I was like, yo, I'm not writing that bullshit. And I would leave. And so I say keep lab lonely, prolific through suspires. Suspires is such a beautiful word because it doesn't mean just like you know, like you breathe, but it means like a heavy sigh, like it's difficult, you know, and that's kind of like the mentality, you know. But I said uphold three perfect principles, like that's written throughout the book. And the three perfect principles are original creativity, honor, and full uprightness. So the originality was in creativity, the honor was in the word is bond, and the full uprightness was always be able to have a way where everything you do would be expressing your understanding. You know what I'm saying? Well, look, Amma, that's a beautiful name. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful name. You know what I mean? By the way, I named her Amma because in my music writing, I'm always trying to describe the most wonderful thing in music, which is soul. And I always trying to actually make it concrete as a description. And I love soul music. Like soul music to me is like opera. You know, I be listening to like people put on like a Whitney song or Nita Baker or of course Phyllis Hyman, my ultimate favorite. I listen to that shit like opera. So on a certain day, I might tear up. Other days, I'm like, yo, stop, don't move, listen. I'll be doing that all the time. I'm like, yo, no, you can't just like let this play and you don't acknowledge what you did right there. You know, I'll be doing that all the time, you know? And so it's my opera music. That's why I named her Amma and stuff like that. And she's literally real, flesh and blood soul. So, you know what I mean? And it's funny because she really lives out her name because she's really, really passionate. You know what I mean?
Beautiful name.
And she's really artistic too, you know? So, but those three perfect principles, I put them in there, you know what I mean? And I just love leading it there because no matter how somber the song is, it's the glory of being able to have the tools to defend yourself, the knowledge of who you are, the tools to defend yourself, and the understanding to actually share it all is a beautiful thing. And that's why I said, like at the end, we do all this to protect and project this because the things I love seeing in the end of that verse, a child's embrace, a lover soothes, joyously crowded in this war. Like no matter what, we have love all around us though. You know what I mean? And they have yet to see my encore because I got more shit coming. You know what I mean? That was what that meant though. You know what I mean? Enemies have yet to see our encore. They don't even know, you know? That yeah, God, this was Thug Tears. Like, there was one take I messed up a take because I was like, yo, I didn't really emote like what I mean by this, you know? And when I did the first verse, by the light of venerated moon and sacred soul, I started to tear up and I couldn't see the words. So I had to stop and I had to take all over again. You know what I mean? But it was like, that was what I intended. I intended people to get to a peak. And if you ever look, man, I keep saying I'm very influenced by RZA. This whole album is in the vein of the way RZA's Bobby Digital albums end. So the way his albums would end, he's a savage Bobby Digital, but at the end he gets conscious, right? It's the bottom songs at the end of the album. I wanted my whole album to be like the end of RZA's albums because that's what really means the most to me. Those most passionate, lyrical, dense, knowledge-filled, understanding, propelling songs. So that's what I always want to do. So that's what I made it. So the Zen of Us is like the cornerstone of the album. You know, like I love making it. You know, I'm always going to be proud of my music career with certain songs, no matter what. And Zen of Us, Inscription 2, Remembered Imperfection, because I did Remembered Imperfection at the same time I was doing these, but I decided to put it on the Burnt Silk, because but that was definitely in the vein of this album. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was a really intense song. You know what I mean? And what's funny is I didn't share it yet, but my youngest Alma saying that she has so much passion and soul. She loves making fun of the way I rhyme, so she deepens her voice. Yeah, will they ever remember us? And she does all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so I recorded her doing "Will they ever remember us?" Yeah, so I gotta share that video. You know what I mean? So
I gotta see that. I definitely gotta see that.
But she had there was another song I did where she did like a whole video for it. So she took small weights and was like everything Boppy does. Like I pick the weights up and then I do cool things. She took polo hats and started putting polo on and just, do exaggerated, horrible imitations of me. You know what I mean? Humbling imitations. She has to add but yeah, it's hilarious though. But she knows how much that meant to me though, that song. But she makes fun of me too. It's funny. Really.
I definitely got to see that.
Yeah,
and then,
put that on. That's too funny.
And then we've got the final track.
I wanted this bonus track to read there as a bonus track, like the way the Bible, Killer Priest, the Bible song is at the end of Liquid Swords. Like Liquid Swords plays without that, but you also need it. It's part of the album. It's originally there. And Infinite Mind, that's my brother. That's the Light Eagle. You know what I mean? That's the Light Eagle. We was training together. I first trained him in before I brought him to Sigung Bobby. And he literally went to Wudang Mountain in China and learned there. And he came back and he was like, yo, God, the same things we learned there, we really learned it. So it was like a confirmation of what we learned and what we were doing and still do. But before I was making albums and rhyming, I had thought about making my own spoken word album. And so I had thought of like writing these poems, and I wrote it in the voice of like the great Sigung master in the Kung Fu movies. And that's why I had that voice. Now then, you know what I mean? Like I was doing a Kung Fu movie, like I'm doing my Kung Fu movie. And so it's a dense poem, but if you love martial arts and you really listen to what I'm saying, I'm really showing you what this is about, And Infinite Mind is supposed to be the student that just is like, I'm sending the student off to war, the disciple. And so he's the disciple just flipping the rhymes and showing all his styles and stuff, So like we have fun with that song. And what's crazy is that the beat switch is 2 beats. King He does 1 beat and Venomous 2000 does another beat. What's so interesting about that is that the God King He that did the first beat, he actually is the God that taught me Wing Chun.
Wow.
So it's just crazy. Like when I saw him, we laughed because it was like, yo, God, like you're on the album. And then it was crazy because he's the one that taught me Wing Chun. So I used to watch him. We would do all animal styles, and there's more exertion in the animal style. He's doing Wing Chun, and he's like, somebody once challenged him, and they went real aggressive on him. And I saw him just do a small move, and he went boom, boom, boom on the guy's chest, black tiger punches, boom, boom, boom. And the guy stopped. He had trouble breathing. He was like, and he fell down. He couldn't breathe because it was like pounding on his chest repeatedly. And I was like, yo, man. And I see him, and he didn't even break a sweat. He wasn't even dressed like to train. He was dressed like he was wearing polo. And I was like, yo, you just did all that. I was like, yo, when I learned more about what Wing Chun was, I was like, yo, King, you got to teach me this because it's perfect for my body type and it's so economical. It's like everything we learned, but in a concentrated form. So I learned with him and other things Bobby taught me about it, but he was the one that showed me the Silum Tao form, which is the first form, which is really the core form. But it's crazy. It's a real Kung Fu song. So I was like, yo, I did this song. It's not rapping. So sometimes I'm like, damn, I didn't rap on it, you know what I mean? But I love what I said, and I love what Infinite Mind did, and it really goes with the book, and it has to be on there. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna use it for this, you know? And it was a perfect bonus track, you know? And so after that, I was like, yo, I could make more songs, but that was it. Like that's all. It says everything, you know. What gets deeper is to go into the actual book, you know.
Yes.
You know, so that's it. That's the whole album, man. You know, and it was done pretty fast, though. You know what I mean? Because once I had the implemented tools, and I had Iron Butterfly and Light Eagle, but the other songs were made pretty fast because King put me on. You know, he put me on deadline. He was like, "Yo, God, you gotta do these songs." You know, and he probably gonna put me on deadline too now for the next album. Though he probably put me on deadline for the for our next album that we're doing, you know. But it was wonderful. So and I did most of this album, like I said, after my father passed away, and it was very cathartic. You know what I mean? It really felt good to release and to just express myself in that way. You know, all the ways I'm able to express myself, there's something special about MCing. That to take your words and your poetry and your understanding and put it in a way that is musically inclined. You know, and music that I've written about for over 30 years. You know, it's wonderful that thanks to King, I was able to put this in this tradition that the people that I looked up to, like Amiri Baraka, writers I really respect, like Ted Jiwa, who all do their own music. You know what I mean? Amiri Baraka did his own music. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I gotta do this. Like, I gotta do this. You know? So, you know, it was great. I had so much fun making this album. You know, so much fun.
I think it was great. It was dope. And I love, like I said, the accompanying book, you know, because like going back and forth, like I'm listening to the songs, like, wait a minute, this was in a book. So, you know, going back and forth and tying in all of the understanding within it. That was dope. You know, you did your thing. You did your thing, God.
Right. Yeah, it was, you know, oh man, I'm so glad that it came together. It is, you know, it's a project, a book that I held for like almost 15 years, you know what I mean? Almost 20, actually, almost 20 years, you know? So to release it like this, it just, I didn't know how it would feel, but it was a big weight off my chest to finally have shared that book, you know? And to share it with an album like that, like, you know, it's great. It was really great, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And speaking of sharing, you know, we were talking behind the scenes about support, you know, so
yeah,
the
man.
best place
Yo,
to
listen,
support it.
Anybody could hear the album, but yo, if you want to support, buy the book. You know what I mean? The book is not available digitally. It's only available in print. Buy the book. The album, you know, you can listen to it on any of the streaming platforms, but buy the book though, because that's what's really going to make it a complete thing. No one's ever done this. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like I said, no one has ever done this. No one's ever had like written a book and then made a soundtrack to the book and then be about a specific thing like this. You know what I mean? I didn't write about rap and then write a rap soundtrack because that doesn't count. Like you don't write your auto. You know, I wrote a book, a distinct book about martial arts philosophy and a creative work on it, and then made an album for it. You know, so anyone that goes to SUNEZ.bandcamp, they buy the book. I email them the album immediately. You know what I mean? And trust me, I've gotten really great feedback about the book, and that was something I was worried about, you know, because I wrote however the hell I wanted to, that I didn't know that people would understand it or get it. You know what I mean? So I really wrote this book though in the tradition of it's going to be a buried scroll. Like after I'm gone, people will unfold this and be like, "Man, this guy can motherfucking write," you know. But it's here, and it was a real blessing to write it, you know, and share it.
Definitely. And, you know, I was honored to be able to have you on here, you know, to share and build. You know, this wasn't an interview. This was a build. It literally was, you know.
It was a build, yeah. You know, and, you know, I thank everybody, especially you, you know what I mean? And, you know, like I teach all my kids, I always tell them, like, listen, this is the sun, right? And this is the moon, you know what I mean? And they like day and night. So whether day or night, I wish you well. You know what I mean? That's where that comes from. So, you know, that's how I get all the kids and all the little kids to do it for me when I'm at the schools, you know. But that's how I feel about this. When I do this is because I'm very happy. You know what I mean? I'm very happy about it. You know what I mean? It's a real blessing to share it, for people to appreciate it. You know what I mean? It's just really, really wonderful. It's really wonderful, you know.
Definitely. Truly, truly an honor, to have you back on, and supporting, and just how all the connections and just tying
I tell people,
everything.
you've become one of the great music journalists, really digging for artists. I was like, yo, I gotta check out this one. I never heard of that. I never heard of them. Like, you get me. I'm like, yo, I don't know who this is. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and then others that I know about, I'm like, oh, she found them too. You know what I mean? And there's only a few guys that are like that. There's only a few guys doing that. You know what I'm saying? And able to do that. So, people don't understand how much digging and research to find someone, let alone book them. But find them and analyze them, see if they're worthwhile. And you've been on it though, because 177 shows, that's putting in the work though.
Supreme gratitude.
Word is bond, man. Word is bond. Like, you ever become one of the essentials out here podcasting. You know what I mean?
I really appreciate that. It's an honor, coming from you. And hey, look, we're in the tree. This is an honor. Everything's an honor.
Word.
Definitely. Definitely. So I think we should close it out with the title track. I think that's a perfect closer.
Oh yeah. People listen to it. You know what I mean? If you're in the Bandcamp, the lyrics are there, so you could follow. Because I know I wrote some heavy shit, but definitely that's the song. You know what I mean? That's the song.
Definitely. And before we do that, drop your socials though, so whoever hasn't follow you.
Instagram is just SUNEZ, SUNEZ. Twitter X is SUNEZ7, SUNEZ number 7. Facebook, it's my honorable name with my righteous name in the middle, Edward SUNEZ Rodriguez. So if you just write facebook.com/SUNEZ, you find me. So it's all there. So you can find me on those socials. I'm on TikTok, but I be forgetting my TikTok thing. I only go on TikTok because my daughter sends me so many funny things on it. I had to get on the TikTok. But I don't really use it like that yet, But
I tagged you though, and there'll be clips on there.
I think it's. I be forgetting until she tells me to go in it though, because he sent me so many things. But I think it's SUNEZ77 on there too. I think I had to put an extra 7. But definitely where I really always answer is the Instagram and the social media. And I'm on YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is SUNEZ7. So you could follow any of my classes and other things that I add on there occasionally. You know what I mean? But definitely my classes here at the Law School of Mecca, where we are now.
Definitely.
But definitely reach out if you like the album. Let me know, because the feedback is always appreciated. Every artist appreciates feedback. You know what I mean? Every artist.
Definitely.
Myself, But
and buy it, everybody. SUNEZ.bandcamp. Don't just play it. Buy it.
Get the book, man. And if you buy the book, all of my other books are on major sales. You know what I mean? Major sales. I'd be giving discounts for bundles on all my other books. You know what I mean? The Reel of 2024 is being written as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
I got a special book. I don't want to say it yet until I get really deep into it, where I could say it's going to get done. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to get this book done by the end of the year. But Reel of 2024 book is being written. All of the other Reel of books are on sale. My Art and Art poetry book is on sale. The Filtered Reel Essays from the Invisible Renaissance is on sale. The Peace Corps book is on sale. So it's this and 8 other books available, man. So I got a little shelf on the library. You know what I mean? I got a shelf worth.
You do. I've got several of them, and it is a nice collection.
Yeah, I got a shelf. You know what I mean? So yeah, so like if you get deals and stuff like that. So the first deal is like definitely the album Zen of Us comes with the book. So if you buy the book, you get the album. You know what I mean? So definitely check for that. And thank you everybody that even listens to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Word.
Definitely. Everybody, support, just support, follow, share, everything, and look, got all the books looking to get your next one. I know, right? We have to have a whole library. The way you going.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do. Yeah. Word.
Definitely. Most definitely. Well, again, I appreciate you guys, SUNEZ Allah, for coming back on. Let's get activated. This was an amazing, dope build.
Thank you so
I'm
much. Thank you so
appreciative
much.
of you. Yeah, definitely. And, thank you to everybody who tapped in, watching the live,
Word.
sharing and
Appreciate that,
engaging.
man. Word. Word.
Definitely. This was definitely dope. And, we're going to close it out with the title track, The Zen of Us. Again, be sure to purchase the book and you'll get the album,
Word.
Definitely. So I want to wish everybody peace and love. Let's go.
Floating, fighting and flailing, never fluctuating in the winds of conforming convenience. A devious on beats so serious, conspired in expedient tempo, rhythm to soul's manifesto, a military mandate set in tone, where humanity of the immortal will be shown, and proven we are the gods, the ones that sought while we taught, past butterfly knives swings, Bajutru swigs, step poles, horse dance tolls, stained Wing Chun dummy limbs, black tiger punches and kicks and tims. We honor the work most difficult, love hella right, we trap dissidents, where only we see the scars of our unheeded prophecies, a healing Krishnamurti feeding unwanted philosophies. Poor righteous teachers taught Sharon's a steady commitment, battered and stumbling just to build upliftment. Will they ever remember us? All we gave was the Zen of us. Soon, yes, I endeavored to bless us, past the cusp, us and bust. My word is the Zen of us. Will they ever remember us? All we gave was the Zen of us. Soon, yes, I endeavored to bless us, past the cusp, us and bust. My word is the Zen of us. By the light of venerated moonlight and sacred soul, this word is bond a seal to every scroll, that I could never not love you. I would tear my eyes out with glass shards to further your vision, silence the world to hear your decisions, chew the metal of senses and rotten steel oppresses, anything to vanquish oppressors. But exclamations of devastation, just glamorizations of cessation, devil civilizations more in slow deflation, of degradation, never mutating plantation, defying quick identification. So warriors study and train in deadlock, to be adorned and walk is to be scorned and stalked. Burn bridges and principled fires, keep life lonely, prolific through suspires. Uphold three perfect principles to all the disciples disciplined. Originality, content of worth expressed in sublime creativity. Honor, in the word is bond, so the bond is life, all activity. And full of brightness, where understanding is the natural conductivity of our likeness. The mind of pen and the way of the fist is to protect and project this. A student sees and a disciple goes 180 moves. A child's embrace and a lover soothes. Joyously crowded in this war, enemies have yet to see our encore. Will they ever remember us? All we gave was the Zen of us. Soon, yes, I endeavored to bless us, past the cusp, us and bust. My word is the Zen of us.